What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great day. It's hump day, and free agency has officially begun, so all kinds of wild things happening. You know the tampering period. I got you through that. Gave you all the information on not only all of the Eagles' moves, but throughout the NFL. So if you missed any of that, go check those videos out. But we've got some live information here for you. This dropped a little while ago, posted it on all platforms, but let's talk about it a little bit here. So Fletcher Cox re-signing with the Eagles, one of the Eagles greats. I've always loved Fletcher Cox, big fan of his. Now, clearly he's getting older, 32 years old, not exactly the same player as when we first got him. So a lot of people feel a certain way about this move. Now, for me, I'm going to give you my opinion. I think, last year he had 8 sacks? I thought he did pretty well, but this line was stacked. You had really great depth, and that's something we talked about, having depth, how important that is, having that rotation on the line. And, we talked about what we have right now without Hargrave, the possibility of losing Cox, Sue, Joseph, all those things. And one of the things we talked about was maybe one of those Old Man Rivers comes back, just to have somebody as a depth piece, still look for somebody in the draft. But we've got a couple pieces already. I don't think you need to go with the 10th pick, Jalen Carter, like everyone's saying. I think that, for me, Milton Williams and Jordan Davis are going to ball out, and they're going to see a massive uptick in snaps. And that's still going to happen regardless of Fletcher Cox coming back. And, we got a 1-year, $10 million deal. There were other teams that were trying to sign him, the Jets being one of the high bidders. And look, Joe Douglas trying to take our damn players. You better watch it. But Fletcher Cox has got talent left. He is not washed, but clearly these guys get older and they're not the same players. I don't know why that's so shocking to people, but that's why he only cost $10 million. And of course, you're going to get someone that comments, it's $10 million. Yeah, well, in the NFL, that defensive tackle, that puts him around the 20-ish range. I've seen someone said it was 16th amongst defensive tackles, and I saw someone say 23rd. Yeah, okay, we'll average it out around 19, 20, right? So look, clearly last year, I don't think, he's playing up to that necessarily. I think, PFF had him ranked somewhere like 70th out of 130, 140 tackles, defensive tackles. So look, if you want to go by grades, you want to go by stats, whatever the hell you like to look at, I think that he did have an impact on the field. Now, again, this is not the same impact as when he first got to the NFL, but enough that you want to keep him around. Plus, you're kind of doing like what you do with some of these players, and I don't like it all the time. I'm going to be honest with you. Howie likes to give these guys a little something for sticking around and let them retire here. And I think Fletcher Cox, man, I really think he's going to bring enough to the table that I'm perfectly fine with it. Now, everybody thinks that $10 million, that's 10 mil against the cap hit. That's not how it works. So we'll see when the cap hit comes out, but I guarantee you it's not that high. So that's great. That's fantastic. We want low cap hits, but we still have money to sign CJ Gardner-Johnson. We still have the money to sign whoever the hell we want. And we still have the draft coming up. So let people get things twisted. But I'm excited about this defensive line. We talk about, Sean Desai, how he's going to use these guys. Last year we had our edge rushers, and you had your Sam linebackers who are edge rushers, but who can do a little bit more, different skill sets there. So you see those Sam linebackers at the bottom with the 2 Johnsons and Reddick. And then, of course, the edge rushers, Barnett, Graham, Robinson, Sweat, Leo, Jackson, all going to get a chance to compete there. And then, of course, the interior. Now, we've talked about this. I feel really excited about Milton Williams and Jordan Davis, but I'm also excited about Marlon Tuipulotu. So you have him. We'll see what Noah Ellis can bring to the table. He was hurt all of last year throughout camp, so didn't even get a chance. His older brother, obviously, is on this team as a linebacker. And then his other brother just signed from the Saints to the Falcons. But you see here, look, this line, I think for me, you've got some young guys that have some promise. So we're going to see what we got, why we drafted them, why we brought these guys in. And that's just part of the process, man. I mean, rinse and repeat. Same thing every year. People get so worked up over things. And it's like, hey, man, this is how it goes. But you lose Hargrave because he's making over 20 mil per year. And when you lose him, and you're going to lose, you see the bottom right there, Quinn could definitely walk away. Joseph and Sue, though, that's a lot of reps right there. Hargrave, Sue, and Joseph. So just talking about that yesterday or whatever. What was it yesterday, right? So we talked about having someone, a veteran guy, to be there, even if you draft someone, because you still got a really young room right there, those defensive tackles, right? So hey, I'm okay with this move. I'm all aboard it. So let's take a look at the moves the Eagles have made so far. And you see on offense, we retained Jason Kelsey, Boston Scott, Brett Toth, and then you have Rashad Penny added. And then on defense, keeping James Bradbury, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, all about it, baby. Now, the players we have lost: Dillard on offense, Edwards, Epps, Hargrave, White on defense. So look, we've talked about this for a month now. Look, we're going to lose players, but you want to sign back the key players. So we're all looking at CJ Gardner-Johnson here. We all know that's who we want to sign back. Beyond that, I would love to have Sayamalu back. I'm just not sure it happens. Slay, they are saying, is going to get released. So I put him here for him, but we'll see what actually happens. You guys know I've been trying to keep everybody up to date with this. And in my opinion, I thought we were going to try to we did try to restructure him, but the thing is that the player has to agree to those things. So they could not come to terms on a restructure or an extension. So the next move we talk about is just like, this guy right here, actually. If you cut them, you can still re-sign them. They just get a completely different deal. Right now, Darius Slay has a $26.1 million cap hit. That is unacceptable. So if you missed any of that from earlier, go check out the Slay video. Explained all of that. But Fletcher Cox is back. We still have money. Do not fear. We're going to open up money. Talked about having the options on A.J. Brown and Hassan Reddick to clear more cap space. We talked about so many things last couple months to clear up cap space, to have the money to sign your draft picks. And people are going to keep saying we don't have money. And I'm just going to keep trying to show them that, well, we kind of do. So let's go, baby. PFF is a gospel face orange raised out. Yo, man, I know. And that's why I said it the way I did. And look, some of that stuff's cool. Like if you want to, gauge something and see where someone's doing good at something, like it's not that the stuff's terrible. It's just you have to be able to look at that stuff, take it with a grain of salt, and understand that there's way more to it than just numbers. Now, as somebody who loves numbers, I enjoy being able to look at things and give you guys numbers, but it's funny that people like, oh, here's the numbers and this is what it has to be. And I've been saying this a lot the last couple of days, I feel like, but it would really go a long, long way if people understood the football aspect and the business aspect, because it's very much so about both things. So, hey, man, it is what it is. But, hey, they're doing their thing and people love it. So, I'm glad he's back too. And I'll always have much love for Fletch. And, my kid, it was like the first player he ever met. So, I mean, I got much love for the guy, and I'm okay with it because it's not that much. And I haven't seen the cap hit yet because it's not out. But once it is, we'll talk about that. So it's all good, Roland. It's all good. Interested to see the contract structure. Yeah, and that's the thing, man. People always lose their minds about these things. It's like you don't even, and first off, even if they were losing, it's like you don't even understand how the cap works. So what are you getting worked up about? I see people just learned about dead money and they don't even know what it is. And they're like, oh my God, what did you know we had dead money? It's like, yeah, that's kind of why I break it down. Like, what? And I have to forget that I have to really slow it down for the media, because it's like, oh my God, like things I talked about months ago. It's like, I got to regurgitate it because it's like, oh no, they're just figuring this out. So I do my best, man. I got to remember that these people are really far behind here. So I'm doing all I can. And I agree with you on that best player available, man. I mean, people are just running with the weekly narratives, oh, well, it has to be this. It's like, yeah, that's great. I read that too, but I don't care what some random guy that never gets anything right, what his opinion is. Like bring back. Yeah, that's something I mentioned the other day, his familiarity with Sean Desai, his fantastic season he had there. Clearly he's 34, going to be 35. So he's up there in age. Again, not the same player, but if you can get him on the cheap, these are rotational pieces, right? You're not looking for them to come in and be the superstar guy. That's why they're taking, money like they are. So I'm with you. He could definitely do that. And I've said it over and over again. You have to add edge rushers. I would look into the draft, but don't be against adding, veteran free agents too. So I think it could definitely happen, man. And you traded a 4th round pick. So kind of be nice if he gave us something, right? But read about the cap. Saw your video about the cap. The cap situation, none of those numbers are out now. And you guys know I'll always keep you up to date when those numbers come out. And yes, we would all like to have CJ back. What do you think the chance of us? 1 to 10? Yesterday, if you asked me, I would have said 5. Although it would have depended because in the morning I felt like 6, 7. Then it was more like, I don't know. And then at like the end of the night, I was kind of like feeling more like a 4. So right now, I think he sees like we're trying to run it back here, man. Like, let's go get this effing Super Bowl. So let's give it a 6. I'm not too super confident because this dude, you can tell he wants to get paid. So Howie's going to, offer him things, but we'll see if these sides can meet here in the middle. I'm a little worried about it. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. We got the money. We just have to be willing to spend what he's willing to take. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be, you have to find that happy medium. So please, for the love of God, Isaac Seumalo. Yes, Isaac Seumalo. I would like him back. Where are you at? Yeah, I would like to have him as well. As I was just saying, probably packing his bags. Yeah, man. There's a lot of teams that are interested in him. Had a fantastic season. One of the most underrated guards in the game. I'd love to have him back, but there are some pretty big offers out there for him right now. I was talking to one of my sources earlier in hopes that give me some good news, and they're still adamant that it might be pretty hard to bring him back. So we shall see, man. Gonna lose people. We talked about this, though. Let's not get worked up. But Todd, my man, appreciate you tuning in, dude. Hope you are doing well. Let's effing go. Fletch is back. But that's all I've got for you right now. Wanted to show you, just in case you guys have been missing out on any of the moves that are made, wanted to show you guys those things. And then I wanted to show you the defensive line room. Just keep hearing, we don't have all these players. If you missed the show last night, there's one that I go position by position, showing you who is under contract, who are the free agents, where people went to. So keeping you up to date with literally everything from around the NFL, not just the Eagles. So you get a big chunk of Eagles, and then if you're looking for just the NFL stuff, you can always rewind to the end where it just every move from around the NFL. So all the signings, trades, everything. So I'm doing that again today, keeping you up to date with everything that's happening. So I'll be back later tonight around 9:30ish, and I will be dropping all of that information. If we re-sign anybody, whatever it may be, you'll see who's added, who's lost, all that stuff. So if you have any questions, come bringing those questions. You can always ask them down below. Always down to talk some birds. I think since Kelsey's back, but I don't know, man. Jurgens has never played guard, and he hasn't done so well when they do try him there. I understand people think, well, we have Jeff Stoutland, so he can turn anyone in. I think Jeff Stoutland is the greatest offensive line coach probably ever, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. There's just guys that have a certain skill set that are used to doing something, and he is one of those guys that is a center. Now, that is not to say that with time he can't get there. I think he definitely could, and with Jeff Stoutland as his coach, sure. But do I feel great about just putting him at guard? No, I don't. I think I would probably start Jack Driscoll over him if you were just staying where you are. If you started the season right now and for some reason didn't want to partake in the draft and add people or add free agents, I would say Driscoll over who the hell are we talking about? I'm losing it. Jurgens, Jesus. But Jurgens, and the reason I say this is because I was of that impression this end of the season, and I was saying things like that to one of my sources. You guys know one of them is somebody who works with the offensive lineman. So the question was, hey, we just sliding him over in case something happens with Seumalo. And not exactly the greatest of feedback and that's somebody who's a professional that works with these guys and knows. So that's something that really stuck out to me. And I was like, damn, dude. So look, I've been trying to keep up with everything, asking questions, and he's doing all he can, but we're not going to know until this offseason. So again, not to say that he can't, but I don't feel like everybody else, like it's just like, oh, it's simple as just throwing him right at right guard. Dude, it's a completely different beast. I know people feel like if you're on the offensive line, you should be able to play every position. They're all very, very different, especially that right guard, man. A lot of communication for the right guard with the center. A lot of things going on if you've ever noticed. So, look, I'm hopeful that Cam Jurgens, if he's given, the opportunity, he can step right in and kick some ass. I love the kid. I think he's going to be fantastic when he steps in for Kels. But look, Dickerson was brought here to be a center too. So maybe he works his magic, Jeff Stoutland, and they figure it out. put some respect. Oh, they will, my man. Oh, they will. They keep hating. We'll keep educating. Probably hey, I love Sua Opeta. Last year when he was on the practice squad, we talked about this. That guy, he's going to stick around. Jeff Stoutland is huge on him, but he's just not starting caliber. So, look, I love the kid. I think he provides great depth, and he's been able to come in at times where we have needed him. But he was on the practice squad for a reason last year. So I think if you want to continue having the best offensive line, you upgrade there. And if you're not retaining Sayamalu, then you definitely have to go somewhere else. You can't just stay in-house here. So I think CJ's coming back. Hey, it's great. I love it. I'm at, like I was saying, 60-40. Someone had messaged me that earlier, too. And I said, look, what I just told you guys, I was more 50. I'm feeling a little more confident today, but I can't go past 60%. I'm there, and I know how he's got the money. I know he's trying. It's just got to be, hey, look, this is what we need. And Howie's got to be like, all right, dude, look, we'll pay you that. And if it's not out of, control, we'll give him the money, man. So, yo, my man, Drew, appreciate you tuning in, my friend. But I am actually just rolling out. But if you have any questions, any comments you want to leave below, please feel free to do so. But I'll be back later, as I was just saying, with all the moves from around the NFL. And then we'll talk about, obviously, first, all of the Eagles moves and everything going on there. I'll show you the updated positions, all that stuff. You will not be left out in the cold here. So appreciate each and every one of you taking the time today. Drew, thank you for coming in right at the end here. But again, I'll be live later tonight. If you guys want to tune in, have any questions, want to talk about whatever it may be, I hope to see you then. But until then, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You have yourselves a great night. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me. Go Birds!